Hey, this is Notser, and this is a look at the Enterprise, the Tier 8 premium American aircraft carrier that will be coming out at some point in the near future. Now you'll notice the new intro, gotta do that. Wargaming's policy, also have to have work in progress, stats are not final. On the screen at all times. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. And yes, this is the Enterprise. So, the Enterprise, what is unique about the Enterprise compared to other American aircraft carriers? Well, it has the 2 torpedo squadron setup. The Saipan had something similar. It was Tier 9 and a smaller squadron. This is much closer to the old Midway version. It's not as powerful, of course, and that's probably a good thing. There is currently only one loadout available, and I don't know if that will stay the same to release. Clearly this is unreleased content, clearly it will change. Most definitely something will change about it, I don't know what. But for now, we're going to go with the idea that it's a 222, and there's no other loadout. Now, what does that mean compared to other aircraft carriers? Well, that could mean that we could actually get a balanced loadout per aircraft carrier. And maybe, Wargaming, that would bring up the effectiveness of each aircraft carrier, because we would know what to expect. Enemy Atago did not expect that. He had to deal with the island. I took advantage of it. You notice that the drop pattern was slightly different. It sort of feels like... what's a good description of it? Sort of like stairs or something? Stepped is a good term for it, yeah. I'm going to bring over my fighters. I noticed that the enemy team might be dropping on this flank, so I'm going to use a strafe. Now, I am not that familiar with American aircraft carriers because, quite frankly, they suck. And I can't remember the attack pattern being this wide. However, I think we did pretty good with that attack. Pretty good. We got there just in the nick of time. Stopped the enemy from dropping on the friendly Atago, and I got 14 aircraft killed in one strafe. Pretty good, right? Now the Enterprise, what's so special about the Enterprise? Well, as my friend stated, the Grey Ghost, the Big E, very famous ship from World War II. The Americans love this ship for good reason. The ship itself was the most decorated in the American Navy. I don't know if it's the most decorated still, but it is right up there with the Warspite and its legendary status for its country and for what it did. Obviously, aircraft carriers are a big deal for World War II. I would really like them to make aircraft carriers a little bit more interesting in this game. We're going to drop our dive bombers on them. See how much damage we do. Felt like a good drop. First one only did 2,400, second one did 12,000. So, yeah, it was a pretty good drop. He's going to put out the fire, of course. Yeah, of course. And as I'm moving away, I am afraid of the flank. It feels like the Enterprise has better concealment than the Lexington, which is the Tier 8 American aircraft carrier. And it does. It's a Yorktown class. The Yorktown is much more sexy than the Lexington class. Let's be fair. Lexington has it thick, but she's a big girl. She's a real big girl. The Yorktown class, you know, it's very familiar to a modern aircraft carrier. It's what we would expect from the Midway or whatever. And as you'll notice, my aircraft dying off, the angle of attack is a little weird angling. You can see that step pattern. That's really what it feels like. It feels like a step. We do a little bit on the Bismarck. He's going to flood, I guess. He'll probably die before the flood kills him, of course. I mean, we know how it works. Yep, come on. Yep. Thank you very much. Was trying to keep the Benson alive as long as I could possibly do it. He's just got a lot of enemies there. He should have pulled back way earlier. I really doubt that he's going to survive. You know, it's just, it's really, really bad for him. But our fighters are still up. We can provide protection. The enemy in Lexington is looking to try and get through, and we'll see how well it works out. You don't really notice that they're Tier 7 aircraft in a Tier 8 match. The only time it's really obvious that you are down one tier is when you are dealing with tier 9s and tier 10s. Oh boy, there are a few things in this game that I hate more. It's that bad. I was playing in a tier 10 match as a tier 8 aircraft carrier. Now, granted, the enemy aircraft carrier at tier 8 wasn't going to have a good time either. But both of us being tier 8, and I have tier 7 fighters. Oh, they were just obliterated. Absolutely decimated. And I couldn't get anywhere close. The only thing I could potentially drop on was the destroyer. So it was very bad. Very bad indeed. But I'm going to try in the Enterprise. You know, I think that's not unfair. That is more familiar to me in the World of Tanks genre than World of Warships. World of Warships and my Mogami, for instance, I did feel very much capable of doing as much damage as I could put out. I didn't feel like I was completely, and I do mean completely, worthless to my team if I was the bottom tier, which I definitely feel when I'm in this aircraft carrier. I definitely feel when I'm in any aircraft carrier, let's be honest. Maybe the Saipan is the only exception, but even then, you're running with squadrons that are way smaller. So, but we're in a good spot. You know, I pulled back. The enemy was definitely taken out in a efficient manner between the Bismarck, between the Atago, between the aircraft. We've done pretty much everything our team needed on the western flank and the eastern flank. And that's what a 2-2-2 build gives you. I just don't know why Wargaming refuses to fix the American aircraft carriers. I just don't. It's so clear. It's so obvious that the American loadout is terrible. You know, I was about to say that the Japanese are way better. It's just so obvious. And the balance is so kooky. I would love to see the balance between different loadouts, and I know they have this. So is this the start of a potential one loadout build for all aircraft carriers, and it's going to be a very balanced build? I think it could be. I think it feels good enough. Is it the most broken thing you've ever seen? No, it feels pretty good. You know, pretty balanced. If you drop well, you will have a lot of success. If you drop poorly, well, guess what? You're not going to have a lot of success. Feels pretty fair to me. Time over target is a big deal. Distance to target's a big deal. I mean, everything plays into it. I love this 2-2-2 build. The Shokaku has the same feel. Clearly the game is over. Clearly it was domination by my team, and clearly I'm pretty happy about that. And I'm glad I contributed. I felt like I did a good job. I feel like as an aircraft carrier, especially as the Enterprise, you got to consider who you're dropping on. Same with the Kaga. You can't just blindly go towards any airship. I mean, that's the case for everything, right? But it's blatantly obvious that, you know what? Be careful around tier 8s, especially American battleships. Definitely avoid tier 9s and 10s. You will be gone. You might as well not even drop. It's going to be killed off that quick. And I did play a tier 10 match, and yeah, it's as bad as it sounds with tier 7 aircraft. It really is that bad. And we're trying to predict. Friendly Bismarck is there. Semi-strafing run. Strafing run looks good. And yes, it's quite clear in this game, too, that I'm just a more experienced aircraft carrier captain. Beyond the ship itself, I just know what I'm supposed to do pretty much every single time compared to the enemy. The enemy is very much... He's just trying to defend his fighters, and he's not going to strafe my ships. This is sort of me playing the game in an aircraft carrier probably a month ago. Probably 2 or 3 months ago. But you can be a little bit more aggressive. Since you can strafe away as long as you have ammo, that's what you should really try and do. If I got in a scenario like this and I felt like, oh man, I'm going to be wiped out, strafe away and get the hell back. You don't want to allow a fighter squadron to strafe your entire attack. That's basically almost a lost game. Every attack that fails as an aircraft carrier could be the end of the game. because you have to impact it so much. If the enemy is impacting it as much as I have, it's just night and day, right? So I was pretty happy with the Enterprise. I felt like the rearm cycle felt pretty fair. It felt like a little bit faster, just a touch, than something like a Lexington, for instance. They are smaller squadrons, and I'm doing smaller in air quotes because if you didn't have air supremacy, then it would be the same size, but, you know, we can't change that. We can't change that at all. So, enemy Shokaku. He's obviously full life. He's obviously not having as much fun as he probably would like, since he's being focused down, and I'm trying to get in a position to drop my bombs on him, and I expect any second now, oh yes, defensive fire to kick in. Just try to predict it as well as I can. We do get a little bit of damage in some fires. 2 fires, actually, so he'll put it out. Torpedo bombers are in approach. But the Enterprise is okay. I know. I need more time with it. It's really weird that it only has 1 loadout. I've never seen that before. So I'm really curious what that means. That's probably the one thing that would caution me that something is going to change. But do I feel like it's effective? Yeah. Does it live up to the Enterprise legendary status? Well, no. I don't think anything does, because you are in control and you don't get the benefit of history or teammates to help you out, information. You're doing this on your own. You try your best to survive, take out the targets, but you know, it's really fun to play. For those who know the history, there will be extra incentive to purchase it. I don't think this is a miss if you buy it. I just think that there's a little bit too much up in the air right now for me to feel comfortable reviewing it. And the Shokaku's not feeling very comfortable, is he? He's like, oh yeah, pretty bad game. And he's taken out. Game over, man. Game over. So yeah, the Enterprise, pretty good. 127,000. We strafed a buttload of aircraft, 37. Very happy about that. Friendly York did a better job. Good job, York. She's okay. Enterprise is a solid ship right now. We'll see what comes from it. What improvements will it attract? But right now, pretty happy with the performance that it gave. I hope everyone enjoyed seeing the Enterprise. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.